we'll see how it goes. All right, folks. So today I wanted to talk about project timeline. So if you're creating project plan, then obviously you might be using tools like MS Project if you're using Waterfall, or Jira for Agile, or sometimes you would either use Excel to identify the task, then list out the duration, start and end days, assign resources, all that. So why do we want to present the timeline in a PowerPoint? So there could be multiple reasons. So most of the time when you have to present your timeline to senior leadership, they don't have the time, and first of all, they are busy, so you want to condense your entire project timeline, which is maybe a year or 2 year project timeline, sorry, into a one page slide, and also make it pretty and not making it super condensed with a lot of information, because if you're presenting at senior leadership level, they're not interested in the details. They want to know what are your key milestones and when you can achieve it. So that's what we're going to take. That's what we're going to look at today, to see how we can present the project timeline in PowerPoint. What are the tools available without recreating and spending a lot of time in PowerPoint, right? What do you have at your disposal that you can create quickly, not spending too much time? So let me share my screen here. So what I have here is three different ways that you can present your timeline. So I'm using this as a example. You don't have to use the same way, but I'm thinking if you don't have time, then the best way is to create a smart art like this, what I have on the screen. So this is easy way to create a timeline because it's a bullet pointed list, so you can add and delete anything at any time. So it's as easy as just adding another sprint called sprint 7, and you know typing it in, and then it immediately shows up on the slide without any effort, right? It's just typing the bullet points and voila, you have it. So when time is of the essence and you don't have enough time to create a detailed project timeline, then this is something that you can go with. Let me put it into full screen so you can have a better visual. All right, there you go. So that's the first one, and we will go in detail on how I created all these things, but right now I just wanted to show at a high level what we have. So the second one here is a similar, not a inbuilt smart art, but more than that, something that is created quickly with few boxes. And the intent here is you want to show key dates and key milestones, and let's say if it's a agile project like I'm showing off here, so you're showing that how many sprints you have in the project overall, starting with sprint 0 all the way to sprint 6, when will each sprint complete, and then at the bottom what would each sprint deliver. So it's more of a visual representation of a timeline, so that you don't have to show the entire ugly project plan in front of the senior leadership and have them have a lot of questions. So you want to minimize it, but have to convey the message in a very elegant and condensed way format. At the bottom it's just bullet points. Let me go back. At the bottom it's just bullet points, and then for each sprint what you wanted to highlight as a talking point, or if you want to call out anything, then you have enough space here to do that. This is another format, and again we will take a look at how I created each one of them, because each portion is independent and you can move and arrange and copy paste and things like that. So let's jump on to the third one. So this is an interesting one. This might be a powerful one and easy one to do. I'm going to show how I created this. This is an add-on from Microsoft itself. So if you have a project plan in Excel or MS Project, so Microsoft offers something called Office Timeline. So that's an add-in. So once you install the add-in, you'll get an option to import or export projects. So if I click on import, so let's create a new slide, and each one of them will look in detail, but just wanted to quickly show you what it looks like. So if I go and create a new timeline, go to the Office Timeline free option and then say import, then that will give me an option to bring in a project which is in either Excel or project, Microsoft project. Right now I don't have an option to do this because this is a free version, so it will not allow me to import it right now. And the website to do that is available here. It's called officetimeline.com/pro. This is again Microsoft website, but there is a license you have to pay for that to get the Pro edition, which is for $99 per year. So I don't have that, and I don't want to buy for my personal use anyway. But with the free option, you can do certain things, and if that is all you have to do, then you can do that. Let me close this, go back to this slide. So I was able to still do this by manually creating the task. So all these bars are the task ones, and all this sprint 1 2, those are swim lanes. So there is a limitation with the free edition. It's that free edition has allows you only to create up to 10 tasks, so you can combine either task or milestones into one, but at a time you can only have 10. So I'll show you how to create that also in the detailed one. So just to summarize, if you want to have an ability to present your timeline to senior leadership, so you don't want to show your detailed project plan, behind the scene you will have a maybe 10 page or 1,000 line item project plan, but that's not something you want to present when you're presenting with senior leadership, right? So that's where the PowerPoint comes into play, and you want to condense the same information in a way that they can see the key milestone dates and key deliverables. So that's what the intent is. So we looked at three options. One is to create through smart. This is called smart art, which is on the top here. You can see smart art. So this is just a timeline available in smart art. The second one is manually created, but still it's an easy way to create. So let me click there. So these are individual boxes that you can insert through the shapes option here, and then we just created another box and angled in a way so it gives some graphical representation, right? And the third option is what I showed you earlier, which is the add-in available called Office Timeline Pro. So now let's take a look at how each of this is created, now that you understood why we want to create it. So the first one is pretty easy if you don't have enough time. So all you have to do is go to the design, sorry, insert, and then on top ribbon you have something called smart art. So if you look at the smart art, then what you have here, let me bring on the screen share one more time. There you go. So let me show it to you again. Under the smart art, if you click on it, you have a lot of options available here. The one that you want to look at is called, I believe it's called the process, and yep, there you go. So under process you have multiple options. So the one that looks like a timeline is anyway named as basic timeline. So if you click on it and say OK, it comes back with this. Then there is an arrow on the left. You can click on it and then you can start typing the timeline. So you can name it as deliverable 1, and then you can press enter and then have sub bullet points under that. So subtask 1, right? And then subtask 2. So you can play with it. You can arrange the size of it. You can click and drag to make it small, big, and all that. So let's say you have deliverable 2, and instead of the subtask, you can even have when the date is, things like that. So it's up to you how you want to create and show in this smart grid. But the point is, you can quickly create this. You don't have to wait for too much time, because it's something that is available right to you. So if you're just going to start your presentation and someone asks you, can you throw in a timelines? So this is a quick way. It takes less than 5 minutes to call out the key deliverables and milestones and stuff like that. So that's this one, the smart art. Now let's look at the second one. So this is manually created. So here what we have is a basic um, shape. So let me show you here how I created that. So you have to just go to insert and then say shape, and I just picked a square box, and then I inserted another one which looks like this. It's just part of the flowchart. So if I make something at the same, almost the same size as this one, and then change the color to maybe something dark or a different blue, so it will give that illusion of uh, so let me place it and then copy the first one and then put it here, and then right click on this and say send to back. So it kind of gives you that connection. So you can play around with it. You can adjust the shape and size and then move around um, the other boxes. So ideally the way you want this is you want to have this line ending from corner to corner. So let me see if I can do that. Alright, there you go. So let's see. And then extend this so it touches the corner. So there you go. So this is a quick way. So once you have this, then you can just copy these two and control C, control V, and then continue to build that, right? So you just put it so that these two corners meet. My mouse is not that great. It's a Bluetooth mouse, so I'm struggling to keep it in place. Okay, something like that, and then right click that and say send to back. So this way you're just building a kind of a sequence. So you can just name it as this is the 12.1 deliverable, this is 12.8 deliverables, and this is, let's say, 12.15, and then you can have basic bullet points under each to show what this is. So the way I created this is just copying this all three, control C, control V, and then if I just move that like under just underneath that, it looks like a block right by itself, and then I just typed in between a text. So I went to insert and say text, and then I can place it right here. So I can call it as print one, right? So that's how I created the second one. So let me place it here. So it looks like a one single box with the date, the sprint name, and the deliverable. So it is, let's say, start, um, right? So this could be a demo, and then this could be something like a um, initial release. So you get the idea, right? So then you can just copy this and paste it as print number 2. Oops. All right, sprint 2, and then you can have the same thing for sprint number 3. Nope. All right, so there you go. You have sprint 1 with the date and the deliverable again, like that. So that's how this timeline um, was created, and the idea behind that is you can have bullet points, so you're not restricted with space. If you are showing an Excel or a MS project file, it won't be as consumable for the leaders as much as this one, where you can show the visual representation, right? So those are these two. Now looking at the third one, so how can we create the third one? So this is also pretty easy. First, you may want to download the Office timeline. So on the top, you can see I have an option here. Previously, it was not in here. So the way to do that is go to the website called officetimeline.com/pro, and then since I already downloaded it, now it's giving me an option to buy the Pro edition. But previously, what it had was just the button to download it. So once you download it, excuse me, once you download it, then you will get an option on the top to insert the timeline. So let me show you how that looks like. Sorry, once you install it, you get this ribbon, right? And all the features for Office Timeline Pro is in this ribbon. So if I create a new timeline, they'll give you different option how you want to look, which timeline you want to use. So let's take an example of these are our features of Pro and Plus, so you have to buy the license. So let's see what we have in the free version. So looks like, let's say we want to use that, and double click on it. So it comes here and then say use template. So once you start creating template, it will ask you to add task and swim lane. So let's start with this swim lane, which is just a section. So let's say this is section 1, and under that first swim lane you will have task 1, and then you can have task 2, task 3. The cool part of this is you can have, similar to in Excel, you can select the dates. So let's say it's starting on December 1st and it takes, let's say, oops, not that column. So you want to say 1 day. Maybe I'll copy paste here. There you go. So next one starts on December 6th. It will take 4 days and then end after December 11th. The next one starts at 13th and end at 17th, and then the next one starts at 20th and ends on 25th. So you can have section 1 and 5 tasks, then add additional swim lane, call it as section 2, and then you get the point, right? You can add task 5. So that's how you create it. You can assign the days and number here, and then click create. Once you have done that, it moves on to the next slide. So just select Control A and then just move it on to the middle of the page. So the 2 swim lanes that you created, that came in here, called section 1 and section 2. And other thing that you have is the week 1, 2, 3, 4 and the date. So once you click on each of this bar, you have an option to customize and change the color. So you can do all that with the side panel right here. So that's how you create it. I thought this is a cool feature, but it's it's not free. That's a bummer. And with the free edition, all you can do is create up to 10 tasks. So right now we have um, 1, 2, 3, 4 tasks. So I believe you can go up to 6 more. And then, if you have to just call out, maybe out of a 1 year project, if you just want to call out the 5 key deliverables, or then you can call it as key sections, and then list out the task and duration. So this is another cool way of showing the timelines without spending too much time. If you have to manually create this, you can still create it, but it takes some time. Whereas on this, you can just um, click on it and then make changes. So the other easy use of this is when you are on this page, you can say edit data, and you can immediately add additional tasks. So let's say task 6 and task 7. If we add that, then if you click save, then it will show up immediately without any delay. So when you're doing if you have to manually create this, so each time you create task, it will be a difficult, not difficult, time consuming situation. So with this Office Timeline Pro feature, you have the ability to edit that. And the other, you can see on the top, other options we have is to import and export, and you can do an import of either Excel or project. But in order to do that, you have to have a pro license, which what I'm looking at right now on the website, it's $99 a year. So if your organization have that, then it's obviously good to get it. But if you're using for your personal project or not, you don't want to spend that amount, then you can still use the free, but just remember that you are restricted to just 10 tasks. So you have to creatively think about what are the key 10 items that you want to call out or show to the leadership, right? So you can still use it pretty much. So there you go. So those are the three timelines that can be quickly created without spending too much time. If you are asked to present your timeline to leadership, and you have, let's say, 30 minutes to prepare for the presentation, then you have all these cool options available to play with it. So again, let's go back and see what are our options. So here, if I look at first option, this is a slider um, with the timeline showing sequentially, and on the top we have sprint and the deliverables. The next one is a manually created one with just shapes, square, and typing in the sprint name and the deliverables. And you have bottom section, which is just text, bulleted text to call out any other critical items. And the third one is from Office Timeline. This is an add-in from Microsoft. This helps to create up to 10 tasks for free, and then you can also import an entire Excel or Microsoft project file into this if you have a pro license. And the next ones were just how I created that. So that's what I wanted to show today. So if you are ever in a situation where you have to present and you don't have enough time to come up with a slide, you can use these three options to do that. I hope it was helpful, and this is my first live on this channel. Wanted to test out how live and demo works out with the camera and eCam software. So on the top corner right here, you can see eCam live. That's because it's a free version. So I have not decided if you want to continue the live on this channel frequently or do once in a while. If I'm gonna continue it more frequently, then obviously I may have to upgrade to get the professional eCam version, so that the brand naming of eCam won't be there. All right, so if you're watching later, again, thanks for joining those who joined today. And if you're watching later, this is a live recording, and we talked about the timeline, how to create project timeline pretty fast and deliver to your senior leadership. All right, guys, thanks all for joining today. And if you're new here, consider subscribing. And if you like this video, give it a like. And I will see you in the next one. Take care. Bye.